This is part 2 of the 2008 Microeconomics Free Response questions. So, number 2 is utility and price elasticity and demand questions. So, A, define marginal utility. Marginal utility is the additional usefulness that you get from consuming the next unit of the good or service in question. So, it's what additional benefit you get. For B, they give you this table here, and as there's a situation where Mandy spends all her money and buys only fudge and coffee. In order to maximize her utility, should she get more fudge, less coffee, or more coffee, less fudge, or keep her current balance of consumption? And so to do this, you need to use marginal utility and the equation where it's mu over p equals mu over p for fudge and coffee. And for fudge, you have 12 marginal utility per pound for last pound, or $2 for that pound. And for coffee, 20 marginal utility for $4 for the previous pound. And you know these are not equal because for fudge that's 6 and for coffee that is 5. So Mandy stands to gain more if she gets more fudge and less coffee. So more fudge, less coffee. Then for part C, assume that consumers always buy 20 units of good R each month regardless of its price. So kind of box off. If these consumers are willing to buy the same amount of a good for regardless of what its price is, then the quantity doesn't change no matter price. So it's vertical and perfectly inelastic. And when it's perfectly inelastic, the numerical value of the price elasticity is 0. Then for part 2C, if the government implements a per unit tax of $2 on good R, how much of the tax will the seller pay? And since this is inelastic demand, supply is still normal. Not normal, but not perfect anything. And so there is a per unit tax of $2, and so this acts as like a kind of shift of supply in the vertical amount of $2. And since the demand is perfectly inelastic here, only the consumers are feeling the brunt of this tax, and the sellers do not have to pay any of it. And since it's vertical and perfectly inelastic, the consumer surplus, which is the top portion from before, and there's the producer surplus, which is down there. The consumer surplus is the portion that the tax is eating out of, which is this portion here. So the consumers feel the tax and the producers do not.